Okay, that should be good. Okay. Hello, my name's Jay. This is my 89 turbocharged Dodge Caravan. I'm actually from Canada, so all of the 1989 Dodge Caravans I turbocharged, and the 90s as well, that I've noticed are all from the United States. This one is actually VIN stamped from Windsor, Ontario. So we're going to do a little bit of a show around with whatever sunlight we have left. I'll see if I can do it to a couple clips and get a little more information on the car, how I obtained it, and we'll go from there. Okay, so a little more info on this car. I went to my local Dodge dealer, and while they stated that it is copyright, it's property of Chrysler, whoever owns them. I think it's Stellantis now, I'm not sure. They don't actually provide you with build sheets anymore. However, he was willing to make me, a one-time exception because of how cool this car is. So, model year is an 89 Caravan Voyager TNC. They were all the same according to this. Engine is 2.5 L4 turbo engine, 3-speed automatic, and C for Canada market. KH52 body model. Build date was August of '88. Trim is the cloth high back bucket seats. Trim color R8. Not sure what that means. All in all, it's the black cherry or dark cherry metallic paint. There's a couple nicks, a couple scratches that me and my brother have touched up. Factory tints as well on the car, roof rack. Just the standard rims, I believe, 195s for the tires. Complete base model, even the cluster, and I'll actually get into that. Other than that, yeah, just AM/FM stereo, no air conditioning, completely bone stock. The only upgrade or option on this car that was selected from the dealer, or perhaps just made from the factory, were the cloth high back bucket seats, as I recall in the actual pamphlet here. There was an option, ignore that, there was an option actually to actually go without any headrest at all. Okay, so I'm gonna take you guys into the interior here. We're gonna do a short walk around beforehand, and we'll just have a peek at the engine bay. So let's get into that. Okay, and one last thing I actually forgot to add on how I acquired the vehicle. So I was in actually massage therapy school, and I remember actually I was just finishing up an appointment with a family member. I was taking a break. I was just all done and finished up, cleaning up my area. Decided to just step out and check my phone. Sorry, I'm getting bit by mosquitoes here. And check Facebook Marketplace, and lo and behold, a 1989 Dodge Caravan came up out of nowhere. It looked really strange, but with my knowledge of, I've known about these cars for 4 or 5 years. Just, I always admired the Dodge Caravan, especially back from where I'm from in Ontario. A lot of people actually had the first and second gen. So this was the turbocharged was only in the first generation. The first generation was 84 to 1990. The main model years for the turbo were 89, with some trickling through for 1990. I haven't seen too many 1990 turbos, but this is the only kind of all original factory one in Canada that I know about, and the one with the lowest amount of kilometers, not mileage, kilometers. So the gentleman had it for sale for a pretty steep price, but considering the mileage, it was a pretty fair price and all of the work done. However, the gentleman selling this did not know the difference between a regular 4-banger or a V6 first generation Dodge Caravan and the turbocharged model. So I purchased it on the presumption that it was just an old minivan from the 80s. I will show you the cluster. It's all original, but this van, upon purchase, has 84 verified original factory kilometers. This is the lowest mileage, lowest kilometers example of any turbocharged Caravan that I know of, that I'm able to find any sort of history or provenance on. Everybody knows of the manual Dodge Caravan that came up for sale a couple of years ago. This has less mileage than that, considerably less. So we'll just do a quick little walk around. Just got it washed up, taking some pictures for collector plates here in British Columbia, and we'll get to it. Okay, so trying to get kind of the best I can with the light that we have. It's pretty damn clean. So as we can see, it does have the turbocharged decal. The only thing that I've noticed that a lot of these turbocharged models don't have is actually the pinstriping. I'm not sure if this is actually dealer specific or if it's actually a factory option. More like a dealer option. Yeah, no accidents. 2 previous owners. This car sat in a garage for over 20 years, completely forgotten about. Only noticeable thing is just a ding there. So you can get that punched out, get that fixed. And of all the Dodge Caravans I've seen, mine is the only one to actually have that garnish trim. So here it is, completely bone stock. I'm actually just getting gas for it, but completely bone stock. The red on red, and I actually just recently had the headliner done to it. The headliner, of course, fails on all of these after over 30 years. So no kicker area illumination in the door panels, door cards. Of course, roly-poly windows, manual locks, no air conditioning. Just the complete bare bones. Let's see if I can brighten this up a little bit. Okay. And there's the cluster. Let's get a zoom in on this guy. Yeah, 86,000 kilometers. And you will notice that this cluster is actually basic. It is the base model, non-V6, non-town and country. They called it a high-speed performance cluster. The factory build sheet that I have stated that this was actually optioned. That's what it came with. So as the turbocharged model, I can actually bottom out the speedometer in no time at all. So here's the driver area. Sorry, it's a little dark, guys. That's as bright as I can get it for now. Yeah, so I can bring that tachometer all the way down there. Of course, I've never done that before. So we'll get this hood open. I'll just take a pause and get this open. Okay. So this is the engine bay. Actually, I'm just going to go under the light. We'll get this more illuminated. All right, that's better. So here she is, guys. Factory turbocharged Dodge Caravan, 89. Completely bone stock. A little bit of surface rust here and there, but nothing of major concern. Everything is completely up to date. No issues at all. I mean, just look at that head. For what it is, it's pretty clean. As we can see here, because there's no air conditioning, that is just completely open. So it's just a single radiator. Okay, so we're going to start this up. And if any of you are interested, just some information on the Caravan, I find that this Caravan, it runs hot. Just like the cigarette lighter. I find this Caravan runs hot. Hot in a sense that it heats up very quickly. It's a little 4-cylinder. It makes a lot of heat for how big the engine is. So there it is running. I mean, it's the 1980s. It's not anything quiet. Based on a 1984 platform. Same motor, a little bit of bigger displacement and a turbo. Okay, so this leaves us kind of to the last part of the video. I'm just going to describe a little bit more about the vehicle. So the gentleman that I purchased from, he's a very handy guy. Had a lot of work done to it as well. According to the service records, the entire brakes were brake master cylinder, brake pads, brake rotors, everything was completely serviced. Brake fluid, transmission fluid, oil, all fluids flushed, power steering fluid. Brand new tires. As we know, all the cost of tires and even 195s can sometimes be hard to find. You get overcharged for them because they're not as common as they used to be. So brand new tires, of course a new battery, and yeah, I have had to do almost no work to it for the amount of repairs and the amount of repair costs up here in Canada. If you were to just drop it off to a shop and get this all done through a shop, easily in the $2,000 to $3,000 range. The tires would be almost half the price because of the cost of new tires now. The only thing that this car is missing are factory floor mats. However, back in the 80s, they were not standard optioned. These were actually a selectable option. So all cars nowadays, of course, they come with floor mats, but 80s cars sometimes didn't. And this is an example. That's just from my understanding. Other than that, it runs beautifully. Thing's fucking really fast. I love it. It is so quick. It's awesome to bring the buddies in. And the only thing I've had to do with it, of course, just flush the oil, pump up the tires a little bit, give it a really good deep wash, touch up a couple of nicks here and there with, I had some factory paint custom mixed for this car, and as well the headliner. And one little thing that killed me, just killed me in how small it was and how funny it was actually, you can't see it here, but it's the washer fluid pump. I went to local Napa website and I searched 89 Caravan and sorted by most common parts, and the washer pump was the most common. I had no idea it was a common part. So all in all, tires, battery, all fluids, everything. The thing drives as straight as an arrow. This is the straightest driving car I have ever owned. Not a single accident, not a single theft. Never been registered outside of any province or state besides British Columbia. Bought and sold here. Produced in Windsor, Ontario, of course. That's where the old Chrysler plant used to be. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to do some pulls. We're going to do some, we'll lean into it a little bit here. Okay. I mean, before I go off, I mean, isn't this thing just so cool? Isn't this just so cool? How cars used to be? Isn't this just so awesome? All right.